Potter's Journal, August 2020. You ever get sick of making mugs all the time? And from the summer garden, having to eat zucchini all the time? There are ways to do it and not lose your interest. Let's see what happened in the studio today. Real quick, first, you've got to see this. Here's a variation on that zucchini, and wait, here's a variation on the mug, and wait, here's another one. Wow, there's tons of them in here. Okay, but Tiho, the spouts are going to be up there. I want to keep this down on the side on this one. Stick with something long enough, it's nice to discover that you've developed something somewhat unique. It's somewhat your own. I haven't seen anything like that before. If you do try and haven't, try some slip trailing. Tell me if it's as easy, okay, as I made it look here. Okay, let's get this filled up. First, get the air out. Real happy to see this came back to me, because I didn't know if I could still do this. Okay, and on another piece, similar to another batijo, I pressed in the side, so that one we still have to fix yet. Okay, these will need to dry out a bit, but I will get some spouts made, and we will get some spouts on them. Okay, this one is the conscience jug with the little strapped handles. Maybe the easiest of the group because, okay, they are just simple strap handles, and all we have to do is give them a little bend. I cut a bevel in them so they'll fit on here, and this is what a rope, and then just take both hands and push them on like that. How simple could that be? Compared to, let's see, the ones with the 3 handles, or 2. Sometimes I do 2, sometimes I do 3, where they really look like they should match, and they should look like they belong to the same pot. And yeah, that actually is good to just have done with finishing a series of mugs, because the mugs, in a sense, since they're part of a dinnerware set, needed to have a handle fairly similar and to match, to look like it's all part of a set. So that, yeah, it's a good time to work on those. Yeah, the production wear can help, okay, feed the fun series or the art series that you do. Okay, and these can have most often have a pair of handles, or could have 6 that a rope would go through and tie to your donkey. And okay, here's a piece of faux pottery. They don't necessarily have to all come off looking the same, but with this slick, more contemporary design on the slip work, okay, probably they should look a little more even. Okay, little ring handles. Cut these off. Now, okay, this one's a little stiffer than the last one. You know, I am going to give that a little bit of a trim. We'll center it back up. It came off the wheel.
just the littlest bit of a trim.
And the trick here is cutting them down, and I throw them on a little pad, okay, so they don't dry out too fast on the bottom. But the trick now is to cut them so that they fit directly on there, and that's what I did here with the bevel in, and so that when you put them on, there's really nothing to do but set them there. They can't help but attach cleanly and neatly and evenly. Okay, and get them kind of balanced. And I will do this one first. I also do the inside cut. Okay, I'm gonna mark where that is, and this is above the white slip, so it's not going to interfere with the white slip. However, okay, these ones, was another reason why, to make sure it fits cleanly and evenly and is sculpted so it fits directly on there. Okay, I am cutting in at an angle so that this will pour well from the inside and attach, since we can't get in there, and so I don't lose that in there. I am going to grab it with a needle before I finish cutting it loose. Otherwise we have to shake it and try to get it out. Okay. And then I pull this all out, so that when we push the top piece into it, they connect themselves, since we won't be able to really get in there from this side. Now, I may be able to. Okay, and make sure there's nothing rough and uneven about it. I'm even taking some water going over it. Okay, and the same with this piece. We will give that a little bit of a score and a slip. Okay, and then as that pushes on, the two are forced together. And then this just needs, since it fits on there perfectly, you did all the work ahead of time, just need to round it off. Okay, and I will let this stiffen up a bit and come back and do some more on cleaning that up. But if I do it now, it is a bit wet and it will deform the pot just a bit. And so yeah, I've done, in the series of jugs I'm doing, 101 jugs, they're all different. I've done the Batijo, I've done the Conscience jug, I've done the one with the 2 or 3 handles and the spout before, but this time, okay, just like the zucchini, you might be cooking the same thing 100 times, but there's always some variation to it, and sometimes it'll be different as a salad and a cake, and other times, did I get it? Yes. And other times it may be just as simple as using it like lettuce and grating it fine on and one time grating it coarse, one time grating it fine. It can be like 2 different lettuces, leaf and iceberg, to go on burritos or on a hamburger in place of lettuce. So on this instance here, it's just maybe the same old forms, but I wanted to revive this slip decorating technique. And this is actually what got me started on this series. That I had done these pieces with the spout and several handles in the past, and almost said, well, I'll do a whole series of those, but decided, okay, we'll just make it jugs, and that would give a lot more freedom to explore forms and not repeat the same thing over and over again. Okay, I think I do repeat the fry. Start with the fried zucchini because that's the one I can repeat several times, and I'm really starting to like the potatoes because, okay, it's easier to put them together than trying to get spouts to match. I may come back and put a thin coil around here because this looks like it's stuck on there, and I don't like the transition. That I want a smoother transition, so I might put a coil around there, which will add a little bevel. And I am going to try, okay, these donut thrown rings, and I've seen them put on like this with a coil, I guess, put down there to attach them, but I am going to try cutting this to fit the pot, and I'm going to set it on there and try to imitate the curve that I see in the pot, and hopefully that will fit right on there like that. Alright, so sometimes it works out like magic. And oddly enough, I didn't know the Spanish potato, the handles went like that. First time I did them like that, and you know, the French ones often seem to go on like that, and I'm not so sure that I don't like it better like that, but this one doesn't fit with the way the handles are, so we'll try that another time. I really can't play around with this and make it seem harder than it is. I was worried about this for a couple days here while letting things stiffen up. It's just going to fit right on there. Okay, I will get some slip from the bucket. I've just kind of been, yeah, just splashing a bit of water on here. Okay. And the first time I did these, or one of the times I did these, I let the pot, and I think that's a good idea, let it dry out long and slow so that it's covered, equally dry on the inside, and even letting the outside dry out a bit too much, and then re-moistening the outside so it's dry on the inside and wet on the outside to make, when you attach it, the stiffened up on the inside adds some support. This one is still a little bit wet on the inside, so I am going to come back and do some more cleaning up on this later. In fact, maybe on all of these, but I am the same way I said I'm going to do with the spout. I am going to put a little bit of a coil between the handle and the pot. Okay, so maybe a shoestring size one. And by throwing this in with a series of mugs, okay, you get bored with the mugs, and then you get worried and maybe a bit frustrated over the details on this, so it's nice to throw, okay, the production piece, with, depending on what you're doing, the art piece or the fun piece, and move them both along at the same time. When I got back in the studio a few weeks ago, it's always hard getting started, but I find once you throw yourself into one project and the second, it's sometimes a bit rough, but then by the time you get on to the third or the fourth, you've got several things going at once, and then there is no stopping. And I've done the dinnerware set in videos before, so that is actually in a playlist. Okay, we'll work on that a bit yet. So I always make extra parts. Actually, those I'm still going to use, but here they don't quite fit. They're not quite the right size. I put enough effort into it, so I might as well rethrow the spouts and the handles. But yeah, this is working out pretty good. This is a fun series. This is not something I would have predicted I was going to do. It kind of wasn't in the sketch journal. I really had fun with these guys, and these are just a lot of work trying to get the handles right, the conscience jug. Okay, it all started with that one down there on the end. And okay, also going on in the background, I'm starting that dinnerware set. There are the tumblers and the mugs. Okay, stop back. And let's see what happens in the studio next week. Bored with zucchini? Come on now. Are you going to say no to zucchini parmesan? And bored with making mugs? We should be so lucky to have orders for them. I'm making these just to stockpile them in hopes of them selling, but it has worked for me in the past. Okay, stop back and see what happens in the studio next week. You know what? I'll be back. I've got to get a fork.